and welcome to today's live stream. I am excited to have you on for today. Whoop, I just got a message, Plant-Based Gabriel going live on Facebook. But today's video is brought to you by the new book, The Plant-Based Diet for Beginners. I guess I have a copy right here. If you haven't checked it out, it's on Amazon for pre-order. Let's go make this holiday season one where we're going to change some lives. So I really appreciate everybody who's pre-ordered, everybody who's going to pre-order. It makes a lot of difference. But today we're going to be talking about New Year's resolutions and how they relate to kind of the book, The Plant-Based Diet for Beginners, but more so, why do we have such trouble with New Year's resolutions? And why do we have, hello everybody for tuning in. Make sure you comment below, say hello, and let me know if you have any questions. Today's topic, again, is on New Year's resolutions. Why does it happen like this every single year? It seems like it happens like this every single year that we've got the holidays coming up, and we'll say Thanksgiving and Christmas or whatever holidays you celebrate, but we'll say there's two big holidays around this time of year, and you've spent all year, right? Last January, February, you put in all the effort, you found out about a plant-based diet, you decided to go vegan, you decided to cut out processed foods, you decided to add in fruits and vegetables, whatever route that you took, you've made all these big changes, and then we get to November, and right now, today is right, we're smack dab right in the middle of November, this is the part of the year where things start to get hectic. We start to travel. We start to go to family. We start to go to get-togethers. And then the food happens. And there's a couple routes that you can get off track from a healthy plant-based diet, right? You've got, number one, you could just completely go off the rails and say, you know what? I've spent the past 9 months, I've eaten healthy. I've eaten the simple starchy staples. I've focused on my fruits and vegetables. I've enjoyed bean burgers. I've enjoyed ice cream. I've enjoyed all these things, right? Things that are very simple to make, things that are easy to make. And then we get to November and we say, you know what? I deserve a little bit of a treat. I deserve a celebratory meal. And you know what? A celebratory meal is okay once in a while when it's a celebration. But for me and in our family, I can go every single weekend after, right now, moving forward, every single weekend, I'm going to have a get together with family or friends. I'm going to have a party to attend. Couple during the week, we're going to have get togethers. We're going to have potlucks. And if you made the decision that, you know what, I deserve it, I'm going to take a break from this plant-based diet thing, you can go the next 8 weeks and eat nothing but junk. And you know what, if you say, you know what, I'm going off the rails, I'm not going to eat plant-based, I'm just going to go back to my turkey and stuffing and milk gravy or beef gravy and go back to it all. And so that's one way you can go off the rails. Another way is to say, you know what, I've focused on this plant-based diet. I've really given it my best go. I've lost weight. I've gotten off medication. I've started to begin to feel better. My family's noticing a change in my life. But you know what? I deserve a bit of a break. I've realized that there's bigger implications than just what's going in my body. So I'm gonna eat vegan just this holiday season. And those similar individuals who are eating a healthy plant-based diet all year go and say, you know what, I'm just going to eat vegan through the holidays and begin eating the processed food and begin eating the oil and begin eating the junk that you've cut out all year. And both parties kind of come together, right? Whatever way you get off the rails, and you look and you realize that, oh my goodness, the holidays are over. We had 5 family get-togethers. I had about two dozen potlucks. And you get to January, the second week of January, and you realize I gained 15 to 20 pounds. I'm bloated. I'm feeling sick. Where did I go wrong? And how do I know all this? Ladies and gentlemen, how do I know all this? Because I've been in there, right? As we have adopted not only just a more health-focused lifestyle, but a plant-based, a vegan diet. Getting started those first couple of years, it was especially kind of year one. It's like, you know what, I'm eating healthy, but hey, it's the holidays. And what you don't realize until you're able to kind of take a step back from it is how quickly you can regain weight, how quickly with the wrong foods, you can really do so much damage to your body and to your overall health. And so I can remember eating healthy vegan, healthy plant-based foods all year. And then we get to the holidays and I say, you know what? My mom's making us vegan food. My in-laws are making us vegan food. Let's just eat, let's just have it. And I turn around and it's January and I realize I gained 15 pounds and it was not muscle. It was not muscle. It was all fat, all in the stomach, all in the legs. Your face gets all bloated. You know, you can tell someone who's had a really, really hefty holiday season. Their face kind of bloats up, their stomach's distended, and you say, wow, hey, you were looking so healthy. What happened? And it was the holidays. And I've been there. I've really been there. I can say from firsthand experience, I've been there. But that's why we're doing this live stream right here, smack dab right in the middle of November, to stop that from happening, hopefully. Let's ask some questions here. Let's kind of get some discussion going. But let me give you some of my favorite tips and tricks to not only survive the holiday season, but thrive in the holiday season on a healthy plant-based diet. And again, this live stream is brought to you by the Plant-Based Diet for Beginners. It's the new book. Check it out if you haven't. I really appreciate everybody who's pre-ordered. It's going to make a big difference. But from the book, we've got some simple tricks in here that I think are really going to help through this holiday season. And so my first tip or trick or just recommendation to really survive and thrive through the holidays on a healthy plant-based diet is be prepared. Now, if you've followed me for any amount of time, you'll know that being prepared is always one of my first recommendations, whether getting started on a plant-based diet, whether someone who's trying to continue on a plant-based diet, whether someone's trying to lose weight, whether someone to gain weight, it's being prepared. And so to survive through the holiday season, it's really going to be about being prepared. And how do you be prepared? Well, you volunteer to bring not one of the little side dishes, or don't skimp out, just get a little. You're going to volunteer to bring a casserole dish of whatever that might be. For us and for Dr. Miller and myself, if say we're going to a family get together, and I'll say this is in the aspect of we're lucky to have where I've gotten my parents, my sister, our in-laws are all eating a plant-based diet, my cousins, so it's not like I can't go anywhere without having, say, a healthy plant-based option, but we'll go different places or different friends' houses or different vegan get-togethers, and you say, okay, what should we eat? And if you don't bring anything, you're not prepared, you might say nothing, and that's okay, right? If you're not prepared and you don't want to totally hurt your body this holiday season, maybe you just say, hey, I'm not here for the food. I'm here for the fellowship. I'm here for the good people, the good conversations. But that's not as much fun. So we're gonna bring a casserole dish of a good, hearty, hefty food that, if there's no other healthy plant-based options there, and I'm not saying you can't go have a taste of the vegan desserts, but what you're eating for that meal, right, is going to be hypothetically, probably whatever you're bringing in that casserole dish. So what do Dr. Miller and myself do? Well, we're going to bring something that we really enjoy. Whether or not someone else brings something, we know we're going to go home happy and full and not hungry because we brought something that we enjoy. So something like my easy cheesy hash brown casserole, which I've shared a few times this past week, or my baked mac and peas that I really enjoy. Those are ones that, because I also look at it as a way of a learning experience for others, right? If I'm going to bring a big casserole dish, the two of us aren't just going to eat all of it and say, you can't have any. We're going to bring enough, and hopefully it's going to be something that's going to get someone interested in a plant-based diet, and they're going to say, oh, you're eating so many potatoes. Aren't you worried about the carbs? And right there is a great spot where I can get the conversation going to say, hey, you know what? That's a great question, and I used to think that, but we're going to, sorry about the camera difficulty there, but I'm going to say, here's why I'm eating this, and here's how it's being helpful. So being prepared is number one. That is a big trick to get through the holidays. And the second is it's kind of going along the lines, right? We're being prepared, we're thinking ahead, but also we're going to converse with others. We're going to say, hey, mom, hey, grandma, hey, grandpa, hey, brother, uncle, aunt, what are we having for dinner? Because if we're not asking what we're having for dinner, well, guess what? They're going to either have the standard American fare and say, oh, I forgot you eat that way. Or they're going to say, oh, hey, I made you a vegan version of this. I hope you like it. It's just as horrible for you as the version we're going to have. And that's amazing that they did that, right? I'm not grateful at all that someone would do that. When people go out of their way to make a food like that, it is so incredible that they're just open to do that. So I'm not saying to disregard that. It's to say even better is to call up and say, hey, Aunt Carol and Uncle Kevin, you're hosting our Thanksgiving dinner this year. Wanted to see if we could bring anything, right? We're planning ahead. Or if you are planning on making something specific, might we maybe give you some options? Or if you're wondering about that, or maybe you just say, hey, we'll bring some food, we'll bring the spread, and it can go like that. So being prepared ahead of time, thinking about it like that is always helpful. Because the worst thing that you can do is to wake up after the holidays and realize that not all the yes. The worst thing you do is to wake up in January, start and realize that all that hard work you did those previous 12 months just flew out the door because you decided to go back to the old way of eating because it was the holidays and you were just with family and friends and you were celebrating and you deserved it. And then you've got to set your New Year's resolution just to get back to where you were not more than 6 weeks ago. And so that is the problem that many of us run into. So let's see if we have any questions. If anybody has any questions about this topic, I've got more to talk about it because this is a topic that, again, I've had trouble with waking up January 3rd and realizing, oh my gosh, I just gained 10, 15 pounds, right? This isn't in recent years, but this is getting started on kind of wanting to adopt a plant-based diet, maybe not realizing what the healthy choices were or thinking that, oh, it's vegan, so it's got to be healthy. Kind of at the point where I wish I would have had a book like this, The Plant-Based Diet for Beginners, or the 75 Healthy Recipes, right? That would be helpful. But so that's why we're here. Let's answer some questions. Hello, everybody, for tuning in. Ellen says she likes the backdrop. Thank you so much. Cindy dropped processed foods. That's amazing to hear, Cindy. And hello, Alicia. Exactly. If I cheated every time my family got together, I would never follow my plant-based diet. Yeah, that is tough because a lot of times we want to think, oh, some people may just have one or two family get-togethers, and maybe you treat it as a celebratory meal, and you say, oh, it's got some oil in it, it's got some refined grain or refined sugar. You might think, okay, we're just getting together once or twice. But I know in our situation, when we go back home to Indiana, or even here in Richmond, Virginia, with our friends and the people that are colleagues and friends, is we go every single week. We've got 3 or 4 things kind of starting this next week. Right after the middle of November, we get right into the swing of things of there's a holiday party, there's a holiday get together, there's a potluck, there's a party there, and you just go and go and go. And if you're not thinking about it, or if you're not prepared and you're just thinking, I'm just going to treat it as a celebratory meal, well, that celebratory meal you just had 3 times a week for 6 straight weeks just ruined your whole year's worth of effort to lose weight and regain your health. And not to say that you can't do that and then get back on the train and get rolling again, regaining that health again, because I've done it, right? I'm the product of it. I've made those mistakes and kind of you get back up again, but I can tell you from firsthand experience that you do not want to just go into the holidays and say, the heck with it. I'm just gonna eat what I want to eat. And then when it's all said and done, right, whether that's vegan or you're saying for me, it was, I'm going to just eat vegan, not going to worry about the plant-based stuff, or just eating healthy plant-based, just going to be vegan. And then you wake up and you realize, oh my goodness, my face is bloated. I look like I did 50 pounds ago. I gained 15 pounds this holidays. And my back, it goes on. And we're gonna not do that this year. Everybody, I hope that, hopefully if you're watching this and we can get to this point, we're gonna say, if you want to do a New Year's resolution, here's the deal. If you want to do a New Year's resolution for something like, hey, I'm going to run a marathon, or I'm going to bike 20 miles, or I'm going to read this many books, or I'm going to save this much money, I'm going to get out of it. Those are great things. But for you to go through the holidays, right? Go through Thanksgiving, go through Christmas, go through New Year's, go through all these holidays, whatever holidays, it doesn't matter, but go through the holidays. And then you're going to say, all right, my New Year's resolution is to regain my health. I'm going to lose weight and get healthy. that doesn't work. Right now, I'm challenging everybody, don't get to New Year's resolutions, or don't get to New Year's and think, ow, I've really got to right the wrongs I did those past 6 weeks over the next 46 weeks. So that is my challenge to you. Let's see if we got any other questions. Melissa, congrats on your new book. You're awesome. Thank you so much, Melissa. Yes, since Melissa brought it up, The Plant-Based Diet for Beginners is now out for pre-order, both the paperback and Kindle version on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Angus and Robertson in Australia, the UK's version of the Amazon, and we just got a lot of versions out there, and it is the handbook I wish I would have had while I was adopting a plant-based diet, and as I was getting my family, my mother, my sister, my father, helping my in-laws, we were all getting onto a plant-based diet. I wish we would have had this as we were getting started. And I know I've actually had a few doctors reach out, say, hey, can we get some books out to some patients? And I said, of course. So we've got some books going to some doctors. And this book, I really think it's got the ability to change many, many lives. So thank you to everybody who's at least looked at it. Or it's going to come out December 10th. So December 10th, it's going to have more than enough time to get shipped for the holidays. So if you know someone, you're thinking of someone to say, hey, I think they could really use a change this holiday season. Maybe you want to jumpstart their New Year's resolution. This book can really do it. But beyond that, let's not get ourselves into New Year's resolutions troubles. Hello from Portugal, Fernando. Hello, Deborah from California. Renee, love your broadcast. Well, I love when you tune in. Thank you so much for being here. Let's see. Wanda, love your enthusiasm, energy, and recipes. Thank you for sharing with us. Well, thank you so much. And remember, guys, if you have any questions, please leave them below, whether about today's topic or some random topics. We enjoy answering questions, but really, really glad that everybody could tune in here. Joseph, what food items do you recommend if you have to drive for 6 hours that are items that are plant-based? Well, we will be driving 11 or 12 hours this holiday season. Dr. Miller and I, and that's one way, so you can imagine a lot of time in the car. We'll both drive, and Bubbles and Bella will sleep in the back. So they got the good deal. I guess unless you don't want to be a passenger, but they do. So we're going to be driving a lot. So that's a good question to ask. So for us, when we're going to be taking these trips, what we really do is, again, plan ahead and kind of really think about it in advance. And so what we'll do, I'll just go over what we do. We will, if say we're going to leave in the morning, and it can change whenever you leave, but if we're going to leave in the morning on, say, a Saturday, it doesn't matter what day you're leaving, but say you're going to leave the morning on Saturday, I'm going to make sure that Friday or Thursday that I've baked a good bit of potatoes, maybe 5, 6, 10 pounds of potatoes, depending on how many people are traveling. If it's just you, maybe 2 or 3 pounds of potatoes. But I'm going to bake a good amount of potatoes and sweet potatoes. Now, those are going to go in the oven at about 375 Fahrenheit for around 45 to 50 minutes, just on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. Or you can even just put them on the baking racks, depending on what you want to do. And we're going to bake those. I'm going to pull them out and let them cool, put them in the fridge. So we've got those, and we'll get to those in a second. So I've got that in the fridge. And then we're also going to have a big pot of rice that maybe, it normally works out pretty nicely to where I've had a big pot of rice in the fridge, a big bowl of beans in the fridge that I made in the Instant Pot, and I'll have those, and we're kind of getting down to maybe a few cups of rice left, so that's good. So I'll take the cups, whatever rice is left, and some beans, throw it in with some salsa, put it in a refrigerator travel safe container, a sealable container, have that in the fridge. And so then we've got that, and then maybe I'll bake some muffins, so maybe some whole food plant-based pumpkin muffins. There's a lot of recipes out there. Or maybe some, let's see here. I should be quicker at finding it, but maybe some whole food plant-based whole wheat blueberry muffins, which I know, the book and that recipe. I'll try to get that recipe out. We'll see about that, but maybe some muffins. And then, let's put this together. So I've got baked sweet potatoes, which I'll bring in a, either a Ziploc baggie or a travel safe, refrigerator safe container. And we're gonna, have those in the fridge. Then I'm gonna put those to the side. Normally I'll just take a couple of Ziploc baggies or a big kind of Tupperware container. So we've got the baked potatoes, we've got some salsa I'm gonna bring with us, we got the rice and the beans, and really those foods, if you could bring a thermos with you, kind of bring a cooler. For us, we just kind of put it in a cooler bag. It's not like it has to. What we find is that we do a lot of eating kind of that late morning, afternoon, and then we're kind of in the car and don't get too hungry. So what we do is we have those sweet potatoes, and we'll just open them up and just kind of eat them like you would a banana. And that's the other thing. We'll bring some fruit. So we'll bring some fruit with us. But we'll have the baked potatoes, baked sweet potatoes. And then we've got those rice and beans, which we'll throw the salsa on it, or I'll throw it on before we head out. And then we've got some travel utensils. And so we'll throw those with us. And then we've got, number one, we've got baked potatoes, sweet potatoes to hold us over whenever we need to. And you don't need too many of those to fill up. We've also got kind of a burrito bowl, rice, bean, salsa burrito bowl. You can throw some shredded lettuce in there, kind of do stuff with that. And then we've got a bunch of fruit, and we'll normally pick that up the day of, or if we're out traveling, we'll also, if while we're traveling, we may go pick up some. And so we've got fruit, we've got the potatoes, we've got the burrito bowl, all things that are really easy to, if you're driving or someone else is in the passenger, they can eat, or they can toss you a potato, or, kind of Dr. Miller, or maybe be eating it, and then I'll turn over, get a spoon, and then eat it, and so that works out great. And then also we'll bring a loaf of bread. We'll pick up a whole we'll pick up a whole grain loaf of sourdough bread, and maybe bring some oil-free pasta sauce with us. And that's one of Dr. Miller's favorites. So we'll be driving down the road. If she's driving late at night and maybe I'm taking a rest, because again, we're in the car for 10, 12 hours, she'll pull that loaf of bread out, have the container of pizza or a pasta sauce, and just tear off some chunks of bread and dip it in there and eat it. So we keep it pretty simple. But that's how we do it. Those are, I know you were asking about kind of a 6-hour drive, Joseph, but for 10, 12 hours, we make it work, and it's not too hard. You find out what you like, and I'll also cook up some bean burgers. I might throw them on the grill before we leave, throw them in the oven before we leave, and then we might have some buns with us, or just take the burgers. And we normally enjoy our condiments, and so we'll sometimes just bring a almost empty thing of barbecue sauce that we'll just bring with us to dip the potatoes in or dip the burgers in. So really simple. And we do that quite often this time of year. So that is a really good question though. Joanna, motivational. I'm cheering you on, Joanna. David, we hosted a whole food plant-based Thanksgiving last year. Everyone loved what we made. Between Gabriel and Forks Over Knives, we put on quite... Oh, David, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. You guys are amazing, amazing, amazing. Let's see here. Lynn, hi, Gabe. I have pre-ordered. Well, thank you so much. I really hope you enjoy the book. It comes out December 10th, The Plant-Based Diet for Beginners. My first book, one that I think is going to help a lot of people. So thank you so much. Joseph, my issue is a 6-hour drive and staying at a hotel the night before. So any plant-based recipes or for treats or meal ideas that can make the trip would be appreciated. I will be the only one that is plant-based. All right, Joseph. Well, muffins, some easy whole wheat muffins. The only problem is when for Dr. Miller and myself, when we make, or she or I makes the muffins, we'll get in the car, and I have a real bad habit, and it's not a bad habit, right? Because it's healthy, whole food, plant-based food, so it's not a problem. But get into the habit of, we get in the car, and within the first 3 hours, the two of us have gone through a dozen nice-sized whole wheat muffins, and then we're wondering, oh well, those were supposed to last the whole trip. So you can maybe moderate that a little bit better, but right, it's healthier food, it's healthy whole food plant-based food, so you don't really have to moderate it to the degree. But one thing I know, driving during the holidays can kind of get people off track, because it's really easy to stop at the old stop and go and grab a bag of chips, or grab a sugary drink and fill up on that, which is pretty horrible for you, right? We don't want you ruining your healthful year driving somewhere for the holidays. And I'm not saying that you're doing that, Joseph. I'm just saying that is a problem that many people have. And so while you're driving, I know snacking is a big thing, right? I want something to kind of munch on while we're going. And so sometimes I'll make some quick and easy granola, which I have a recipe for in the Plant-Based Diet for Beginners, but there's many easy whole food plant-based recipes out there. I think Eat Plant-Based has one. Monkey and Me Adventures has one. I think Brand New Vegan may have one. But those are simple ones, but I will also do this, and this kind of just simple. I'll bring a thing. You go to Trader Joe's or somewhere and get a thing of the rolled oats, or organic rolled oats, multi-grain oats, and so I'll get that, and I'll bring it with me, maybe bring some raisins. We've got our to-go silverware, and then I'll have one of those things of the plant-based milks you buy on the shelf, like an almond milk, an oat milk, cashew milk, and I'll just make myself a quick cereal while we're stopped as well. So, you'd have to have a bowl for that, but that's really simple too. So that kind of keeps me going. If you have to drive the whole way, then, muffins are really great. Some granola is really great. Things I stick away from is a lot of people would go to and say, oh, you got to get some nuts or pick up some trail mix. Well, I've done that before, right? And you don't feel too great after eating 6 ounces of nuts on a 10-hour drive. You feel just as bad as you would if you were eating potato chips, really. So that's my recommendation on that. If we have any questions about anything further, or you have anything to add, why don't you throw her below. All right, Brenda, you may not be able to answer this because I think a lot of your family eats whole food plant-based. But how do you handle the emotions of showing up to a family holiday gathering after 3 years of eating whole food plant-based and not a single dish is something you can eat? It's very hurtful and it makes you feel so alone. No one in my family or network of friends eat this way I do. Brenda, I am so sorry to hear that. I just want you to know that I'm thinking about you this holiday season and I'm cheering you on and I'm super proud of you. 3 years whole food plant-based. I'm sure everybody's seen the difference it's made in you. So I would say it's just a matter of time. And I've been there, right? This book was made out of a labor of love. It wasn't like we wouldn't have this book here. I'll say that if everybody in my family who currently eats plant-based, if they just jumped right on board and said, hey, I'm going to do it, Gabriel, I believe you. And that sounds great without any wherewithal of how it was helping me. And so for you, you've put in the work, you're showing them, hey, this is what a healthy whole food plant-based diet is. And so for me, it was a lot of trial and error of saying, hey, what recipes do you like? How can we make it plant-based? How can we make it healthy? How can we make it simple to make for you? And that was the trial and error that went into this book, the handbook, really for anybody getting started on a plant-based diet. But for your situation, I would go back to say, hey, if I understand it's really tough to show up to something and this can be tough if you're traveling, say you're not in your home base, so you don't have like your home kitchen, but it can be really tough to show up and say, wow, there's nothing here. And we've, my in-laws, my mother and father-in-law eat plant-based. Dr. Miller and myself eat plant-based. And we'll go to big get-togethers. And there's a ton of people there. And there's absolutely nothing we're going to eat. Nothing we can eat because it doesn't align with our dietary beliefs. And also nothing that we'd want to eat because we know how horrible it is for us. You see everybody and you think, well, here's what I'll say, Brenda, about you got me rolling here. You got me rolling with it. I would say, again, going back to how we started today's live stream, and you might not have been here for that, but be prepared. I would recommend bringing a dish if it's all possible. Bring a nice big casserole dish of baked mac and peas. Bring a nice big casserole dish of it. Easy cheesy hash brown casserole, a couple recipes I've shared. Bring a great brand new vegan.com dish. Bring a great new Terry over there at Eat Plant Based. Bring a great casserole dish of a delicious food, and you kind of set the tone with it. Not to say that it's going to be frustrating when nobody makes something that you can eat and you're only eating something that you brought. But it's the holidays. You're around people you love. You're around people you care about. You may not feel it, and it's just a terrible feeling to think that nobody made an accommodation for you, knowing exactly how you're eating. But you can go out of your way, and it's tough to do. I understand that. But you can go out of your way to say, you know what? I brought enough to share with everybody, healthy, delicious, plant-based foods, because I am tired. I'm going to get on a tangent here, but because here's why I'm bringing this healthy food, because I am tired of sitting down at Christmas get-togethers, at Thanksgiving get-togethers, and I hear about Uncle him and Aunt her and the kids and dealing with all this, and he's on this medication and bad back and going under this and having all these problems, and you see exactly what they're eating. You see exactly the foods that they're eating, and all you can sit there and think is, you know what? I am tired of hearing about all your ailments, all your aches, all your pains, all your problems and prescriptions, because I know exactly what's causing it, and you all are making it seem like this whole food plant-based thing that I've been on for 3 years is still a fad, or is still something that's on the frill. It's not something sustainable, and it can be frustrating. Trust me, it can be frustrating. And so my recommendation is be proactive. Bring a nice, full, hearty, whole food, plant-based casserole dish full of a wonderful recipe. Share it with everyone. And when Aunt Bill or Uncle Becky start talking about their aches and pains or ailments and how they just got put on 3 new prescriptions, you say, I'm cutting it right there. I'm sorry. I know that you love talking about all the problems that you're having, but here's the deal. You go have a plate full of what I brought, a healthy whole food plant-based meal. You have a plate full of that. You realize that it's tasty. It's something that you could eat on a daily basis. You need to begin eating that. And if you're not going to eat that, there's the solution. I don't want to hear about the problem. That might be a lot to ask of someone around the holidays, but you could tell I like to get fired up a little bit. So maybe that is your prerogative to maybe get people going. But hey, Brenda, I'm sorry that you're dealing with that. But hey, be proactive. If at all possible, if you have a kitchen, I don't know if you're traveling, so that can make things difficult. Or if you have access to a kitchen where you're going. But really do that. We do that with pretty much every single holiday get together we get to, because there's always someone who's not eating plant-based, right? I guess there are some where it's my family, but when we get to extended family, there's always people not eating plant-based. And guess what? Those are the ones that are dealing with all the aches and pains, and they just had a triple bypass, and they just had 3 new knees done and 4 new shoulders and all this, and they're 400 pounds and their doctor's telling them that it's nothing to do with them. They can't change it. And you're sitting there saying, hey, I've reversed all this stuff. I've lost weight. I've regained my health. And all I did was change what I put on my plate and in my mouth 3 times a day. And so you can use it as a learning experience. That's what I do around the holidays. I hope that we can all do something similar. Gilda says, waiting to receive my book. It ships out December 10th. I am just everybody who says that they're excited to get the book. And I respond pretty much the same thing, because here's the deal. I'm just as excited as you are, maybe if not more, for you to get the book because of how powerful I really think it's going to be and is. And thank you so much for ordering that, Gilda. Marilyn, hi, Gabriel. Marilyn, I saw a very close relative today at a vegan pop-up, and I don't know if you got that picture, but hopefully she said hello for me. But hello, Marilyn. Thanks for tuning in. David, blueberry muffins. As a certified top fan, I am requesting that recipe ASAP. David, let's make that recipe happen this week. All right, I'll do a recipe video. We'll do the full 9 yards with those blueberry muffins this week for David and for everybody. A vendor, great ideas for traveling. Thank you. Yeah, we travel, as students, right? I was studying livestock production, playing college football at the University of Nebraska. Erica, Dr. Miller, my wife, all 3 being the same, was getting her PhD at the University of Nebraska. And so we were there, both of our families in Indiana. So there was a lot of driving back and forth around the holidays, and then kind of during the summer as well. And then now we're in Virginia and our families are in Indiana. So it's the same distance, just we're a whole lot closer to the ocean and the mountains. And I like it that way a lot. My garden's also a lot cooler here in Virginia too, so that always works. Nance has Kindle November 26th. Yes, the Kindle version ships out electronically November 26th. And now the Kindle version is just like $6, I think. But here's the deal. If you're, if you're wanting to give someone a gift and really help change their lives, I think the paperback version is going to do it, because I've gotten Kindle's versions, I've gotten electronic versions, and yes, they may be a bit more environmentally sound, but not as environmentally sound as getting someone completely on a plant-based diet. And so if you're going to gift someone, I really think that this book can really be a good one. I know a lot of you, even tuning in now, a lot of people all around the page have gotten 2, 3, 5, even 10 copies and sent them out, or are planning to send them out to loved ones around the holidays. And I'm telling you, I'm planning on doing the exact same thing. Got my Amazon carts ready to roll with a bunch of books I'm sending out to loved ones. So yes. Julie, hello from England. What do you recommend for Christmas dinner to have with all the veg instead of turkey? I'm the only vegan in the family. Well, Julie, I shared a easy vegan lentil loaf this week. Yes, I did. I shared it this week, or maybe at the end of last week. It's super easy to make. There's a ton of easy lentil loaf recipes out there. That's a good one. That's one that you can kind of get everybody on board. I also recommend pasta dishes are great, like my easy baked mac and peas. You can also do like a cheesy potato casserole. But something that we've really enjoyed, and something that my mother-in-law made this past holiday season, was what she made, this cauliflower roast. It was a roasted cauliflower with this nice mushroom gravy, and then chunks of potatoes, chunks of carrots. It was really incredible. I think that might be on eatplantbased.com or maybe Brand New Vegan, but I would really recommend, Julie, checking out, I've got a lot of great recipes. You can go to plantbasedgabriel.com, but brandnewvegan.com has some great recipes as well, forksoverknives.com, all great places to look. But here's what I would say, Julie, if it's kind of you eating and it's, you're probably going to, I would say prepare what you really enjoy. If you want a lentil loaf, go for it. If you want some bean burgers, go for it. If you want some pasta, some spaghetti, you can have that, or some bean balls, or, think about those type of things, what you want, but then also think about what's going to be able to be a effective way to introduce this way of eating to others is also going to be, would also be my recommendation in there. So I hope that helps. I guess if you, instead of the turkey, I guess is your question. Well, we don't eat necessarily, I grew up for a long time, right? I've got my 4-year degree in breeding, feeding, fattening, slaughtering, slicing, and serving every animal McDonald dreamed of. Not something I'm proud of, but it's something in my past. And it's something that showed me there's a way better way than that. But I grew up with that. I grew up with, hey, what are we going to have for dinner other than the big piece of meat that's on the plate? So I understand like Christmas dinner can be tough, especially for people getting into a plant-based diet, realizing that, well, okay. But it's really a paradigm shift. You think that one big chunk of brown stuff that was on my plate, forget about it. I'm going to have these wonderful, colorful vegetables and fruits. And so I would go for that. And lentil loaf's great. Bean burgers are great. Mac and peas are great. There's a ton of great options that you can have there as the centerpiece of your holiday meal. Joanna, do you eat before you go to bed? I have heard some people say that it's not a good idea because your metabolism is not as high and won't burn the food. Is this true with plant-based food? Well, Joanna, there's some schools of thoughts around it. Habitually, should you eat a big thing, a big bowl of food directly right before you go to bed? Should you do that every single night? No, you probably shouldn't, because you're probably not going to be super comfortable doing it. Dr. Miller and I have very busy schedules. We're working 14, 16 hours a day. We're not like working hard, like out in the field, like in the garden, working in the summer heat. I'm not out there 14, 16, but we're, responding to messages, responding to emails, doing more so, just online work for, she's in the office or she's teaching throughout the day, and I'm doing videos or farming, gardening. And so, yeah, we will get home and we'll normally won't eat until 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And some people would say, oh, that's horrible. But you know what? I've lost 100 pounds eating healthy, whole food, plant-based, starch-based meals, rice, beans, potatoes, corn, quinoa, sweet potatoes, oats, foods like that. And we would eat 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and it just kind of fits into our schedule. Now I will say, but we also go to bed at 10:30, 11 o'clock, so we've got a couple hours there. So I'm not saying you should eat right before you go to bed, but I will also say, just this past week, right? I didn't eat much. I was really, there was a day. This may be applicable to you, Joanna, so that's why I'm telling the story. But this week we had just a really busy day, just super busy. I was at the computer, I was outside, I was responding to emails, I was running around. I mean, it was a busy week in general, but this day was really busy. And I didn't have dinner ready. I was sitting here finishing stuff up. Dr. Miller got home at like 8:30 at night, and she's like, what did you make dinner? I was like, no, I didn't even have time to blink today. I'm sorry. And so she's like, all right, well, I'll fix something. So she made some whole wheat pasta, and then she made up my quick recipe for my easy marinara sauce. She just whipped it up, some peas, and we were ready to go. And if you don't eat much during the day and you have your kind of a big meal, you just keep eating before you realize you're full. Especially if I would have had a salad, or if I would have had some great non-starchy veg before that, I wouldn't have eaten as much. But I ate probably 3 bowls of pasta, probably 3/4 of a pound box of whole wheat pasta. Not something that you should be doing. It's whole food, plant-based. It's minimally processed. There's one ingredient in there, whole wheat, whole grain. It was a whole grain pasta. But I ate a lot of it. And here's what happens, I find, and I know Dr. McDougall's talked about this in the past, but when you overeat a high carbohydrate meal, like we eat, a carbohydrate rich diet, low fat, high carbohydrate, high fiber, plant-based diet, and you overeat, you realize that you really don't. It's not like that carbohydrates. I understand this is not what a lot of the keto groups would say, but a lot of them are kind of chubby, chunky guys. Pushing the keto diet. So watch out if someone who is in worse health than you is telling you that you should be eating a certain way. Look out for it. Look for someone who's healthy, kind of exuberant, and probably eating a plant-based diet. Everybody. But so I overate this pasta, and I get to bed, and I fell asleep fine, but I woke up just in the sweats because what happens, and I've found, and many have talked about it, is if you overeat in this if you overeat, say, in the pasta or a high carbohydrate meal, you really stuff yourself. What happens is your body turns into a burning mode to burn that energy, and you just kind of warm up and are kind of uncomfortable at night because your body's just heating up, trying to burn off that extra glucose and glycogen. It's more so the glucose that is trying to burn off, and so that's what I found. You don't wake up and you gain 5 pounds. You just had a kind of uncomfortable night where you were super hot. Now, if you did that every single night, day in, day out, 365, yeah, there's a chance that if you're overeating at night, you're overeating throughout the day, yeah, you're going to gain some weight. But I have not found that eating after 8 o'clock has hindered my weight loss whatsoever and or has kept me from being able to maintain a healthy body weight whatsoever. So I hope that answers your question. If you want to test it out, just have a nice 3 or 4 bowls of pasta, whole wheat, of course, with nice oil-free sauce before bed. And if it's a cold night, you will be warm. We'll say that. You just warm up. Jasmine, hello from Roanoke. Well, hello, Jasmine. Joanne, wherever I go, I bring a tray of fruit and veggies to the dinner. Yes, that's another great option. I did not even mention that. Didn't even think of that. That's wonderful. We were talking about how to make sure you navigate successfully and healthfully through the holidays this year so that you don't get to the middle of January and say, gosh, I wish I wouldn't have destroyed my health and just totally went back on everything that I did to build up my health for the better those past 9 months, 10 months. And then over the course of the last 6 weeks through Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, I completely disregarded everything and have regained all that weight. I'm just as sick, fat, and overweight as I was before, and that is not where we want to get. And so we talked about bringing a big dish with you of a healthy whole food plant-based casserole. That's a wonderful way to go about it. Many recipes out there, ones that will be popular in the plant-based diet for beginners, ones from my website, plantbasedgabriel.com, from forksoverknives.com, from eatplantbased.com, from brandnewvegan.com. Wonderful places to go. And so that's where we don't want to get. But yes, bring in some fruits and veggies, because I will say this: I've been to many of family get-togethers, and I have eaten probably 3 bowls of. It's so funny if you get to these family get-togethers or holiday get-togethers, and I'm not saying this to any one person or people. It's just you get there and everybody goes after the cheese and meat, and you realize the people going after cheese and meat are the ones who are dealing with the most health problems. They're the sickest ones in your family. But then there's all this, you would think it'd be the opposite, but then there's all this wonderful fresh fruit or just sitting, you've got all these grapes and watermelon and cantaloupe and honeydew and pineapple and mango. And everybody's like, that's sugar. I don't want that. You're like, give it all to me. And yes, I have survived many family get-togethers or holiday get-togethers with that fruit and veg dish, really loading it in. And people are like, why are you eating all that fruit and veg? It's like, well, you weren't eating it. So yeah, that really, really helps. Let's see here. And sorry, computer was being a pain. Kindle version November 26th. Is the 26th correct? Or the 26th? Yes, 26th. Joseph, my apologies. We were driving for 6 hours to stay the night at a hotel on Thanksgiving. My wife and I are looking for a whole food plant-based meal item that will make the trip. Oh, stay fresh in the car. Be good for the next day for a family. Oh, yeah. Joseph, something like my easy, cheesy holiday hash browns. That will go great. Baked mac and peas also goes great. I'm going to tone down my light here for a second. My lights over my plants turned off, and my front light just got really bright there. So Joseph, baked mac and peas, you could make it all, put it in a dish, a 9x14 kind of glass baking dish, like a Pyrex baking dish that has a kind of a lid on it. You put that in the car. you can kind of head down the road, and that'll be fine. You can throw that in. You can put it in a cooler if you want. If you want to live on the wild side, you could just drive with it for 6 hours. 6 hours isn't gonna be the worst thing. And then you can throw it in the fridge when you get there, and then you can bake that the day of. You do that with the baked hash brown baked hash brown casserole. You could also just make that easy cheesy sauce, or make the sauce you're going to do beforehand, and then just pick up a bag of frozen shredded hash brown potatoes wherever you're going to be stopping, and then bake. You could in a big jug or whatever, bring the sauce and then mix it in the day of and bake it. So those are all options. But you could, the great thing, you're talking about a healthy, like a starch-based recipe, starch-based meal. You can really make them ahead of times and then kind of mix them in or kind of finalize that recipe right before you need to. So I hope that helps. Sorry, I was kind of off track on there. Joanne, you can stop at any supermarket before you arrive at someone's house. That is smart. I really like that thing about it. Joseph, we're considering a banana or cornbread. Joseph, cornbread is a great one to think about. You can make it ahead of time. Yes, you could. That would be one you'd want to make ahead of time. Banana bread would also go great. On plantbasedgabriel.com, I've got a cornbread and banana bread that you check out. In the Plant-Based Diet for Beginners, we have a banana bread, simple banana bread in there. But yes, you could check those. Those would be really good to check out. Joanne, Gabriel, what's your opinion on drinking smoothies? Some pros and cons out there from various doctors. Well, Joanne, that's a really good question, and one that I was thinking of covering recently, but hey, we'll cover it here in topic. So smoothies! What's the deal with smoothies? Well, here is my simple take. Smoothies are not a food that you should be building your diet around. I wouldn't consider them necessarily a health food. I wouldn't consider them a miracle. I wouldn't consider them something that you should try to include in your diet every single day, even if you're packing them full of all the fruits and vegetables under God's green earth. So with all that being said, right? Everybody, you've got the people that are very pro smoothie who say you got to drink them because it's how you're going to get a ton of fruits and vegetables. You're going to get it, or it's the only way that you're going to be able to really digest it. And all, there's a lot of those out there. But here's my take. But then you also have many doctors that say you shouldn't drink smoothies, but because they break them down with metal teeth at 1,000 RPMs, and what you're getting just gets digested super quickly. You don't have time to break it down in your digestion. It's not a health food. You shouldn't be having them. And that's great too. And those are really good. And I'm really against. So those are two positions. I lean more towards the anti-smoothie position of it, because I think a lot of people gravitate towards smoothies and think I'm gonna put in my vegan protein powder or my multi-level marketing supplement and all this and that, and then I'm gonna put greens in there and it's gonna make me healthy and I can forget about what I'm gonna eat throughout the day. Smoothies are not a miracle drug. Smoothies, whatever you put in them, whether you paid $600 for the supplement you put in it or just put in some greens and fruit in there, it's not some sort of miracle. And I wouldn't recommend putting any supplements or any potions or pills in your smoothies, because the people that are doing that just want your money. So do not do that. But here's my take on smoothies. Growing up, I really, really loved milkshakes. And I would drink a milkshake every single time I went by a certain Golden Arches. And again, I was 100 pounds overweight, a fat kid, and sick, bad asthma, right? Thanks to those milkshakes. But I loved them. I loved it in the summer. I loved having a nice, cool, frozen drink, and I loved having just putting a straw in a wonderful frozen drink. So I do drink smoothies once in a while, but I don't do it for its health benefits. I don't do it for the vitamins and minerals in it. I do it because it tastes good and it's a whole food plant-based option. Okay? I'm not doing it for the vitamins, the minerals. I'm not doing it for the this effect or that effect or getting this or that. I'm doing it because I just enjoy the taste and feel of a frozen treat in a straw going down my throat. And that is as simple as it gets. So I don't recommend drinking smoothies every day. I don't recommend drinking smoothies as a way to lose weight. I don't recommend drinking. I just say, if you want to drink a smoothie because you really want something that's like a milkshake that you can have in a low-fat, plant-based option, then okay, we can do that. Because especially if you're someone who's wanting to begin a plant-based diet, maybe you're someone who drinks a milkshake once or twice a week and you want to be able to do that. So maybe there's a low-fat chocolate smoothie out there that you just drink because you really just want to do it without compromising your health. And so that is my thing. I like having the option out there as a way to have that nice, cool frozen treat without compromising your health. And so I hope that answers your question. I'm not pro and I'm not anti. I'm definitely more leaning towards I wouldn't recommend smoothies that you have them for any reasons other than you just maybe want a cool frozen treat. Don't drink. Do not. I know people are listening to this and they're sitting there trying to swallow down some nasty green smoothie drink that has 1,000 greens in it and it tastes horrible and they're doing it because this or that told them to. And don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Eat your starches, eat your greens, eat your vegetables, eat your fruits, and you're going to be just fine. Okay, preach. Thank you. So I must have said something that Kay enjoyed. Margarita, hello from Cleveland, Ohio. Well, thank you for tuning in, Margarita. Nan, you go, Gabriel. David, you're very welcome. Let's see, Joanna, what are your favorite plant-based cheeses? Well, Joanna, I do not recommend or use any vegan cheeses out there on the market because they're full of oil, they're full of processed junk, and really they're not set up for optimal health and really don't align with a healthy plant-based diet. With that being said, is your aunt and uncle, when they're making something, going to feel like they're not making it right if they don't put some vegan cheese on there? Maybe, but I would steer them away from that. So my favorites are ones that you make at home, right? Joe McKeever has a good cheesy sauce. I've got my anytime cheese sauce in the new book and on the website. And it seems like everybody has a blended cheesy sauce. I like mine because there's no nuts in it, and it's a gluten-free option. And not that I'm gluten-free, but I know for a lot of people, no nuts and no gluten is one that you can bring to the holidays. And so those are my picks for cheesy sauces like that. I really don't have there's not one I'd recommend. You know, the only thing that would fit into a plant-based diet are something like a tree line or what is it, the cashew cream cheeses, which are high fat, so they're not something you want to be eating very often or building a diet around, but they are something that you could throw in a dish if you're making something for the family it's just cultured cashews and water. That is an option. Tree line is one, and then nut and cashew something. Let's see, Brenda, thank you for all the advice and encouragement. You're so very welcome. Julie, you're welcome. Brenda, one last question. Can you share what you ate all today? Well, Brenda, what did I eat today? Well, I'll go through yesterday because today was we were busy running out here and there and really haven't eaten much today. We just had something small this afternoon. So I'll go through yesterday. Yesterday, woke up and had oatmeal. So I made oatmeal for myself, made oatmeal for Dr. Miller. And then that was just like 3/4 of a cup for both, like 3/4 of a cup in one bowl, 3/4 cup in another bowl of oats. And then put in some boiling water out of the kettle and then let it sit, soak up the water, added some raisins, added some cinnamon, added some maple syrup, and that was breakfast. And then lunch, I had some barbecue. I had my mac and peas. I had mac and peas for lunch. We also had soup, and then for dinner we had some leftover mac and peas because there was a weird. Normally I will have oatmeal in the morning. For lunch, I'll have some sort of starchy lunch, either shredded potatoes. I'll have a baked potato with some steamed broccoli or some greens or a salad. And then for dinner, we'll have a salad, maybe a pasta dish, maybe oil-free stir-fried rice, a lot of different options there. But yeah, so starch-based with some fruits and vegetables added in. Let's see here. What's your opinion on smoothie? Okay, we had that one here. Autumn, hello. Barbie, hello. Thanks for tuning in. Autumn, what's your exercise routine? That is a good question, Autumn. My exercise routine is, well, I'll say this because many people realize they see I lost 100 pounds. And so they'll say, well, what did you do? Well, they'll expect what I'm doing now to be what I did while I was losing the weight. And that is not the case. So while I was losing 100 pounds, I was unable to exercise because I was physically incapacitated because I had broken my back and had gone through a 6.5-hour surgery to put poor Humpty Dumpty me back together again. And so while I was losing 100 pounds for the majority of it, I was unable to exercise, and I 100% was solely bound to diet as the only means that I was able to lose the weight. And so that is my way I lost weight, was eating the simple starchy staples, eating some non-starchy vegetables to add some bulk and fiber to my meals, and doing that. But now, as I've regained my health, as my back has healed up, as I've lost 100 pounds, taken the weight off, put a lot of the stress away off the injury. Now I do a couple things. I'll go to the gym a few times a week and work out. Hit some upper body, maybe do some machines for some legs, some like lower body stuff. Nothing crazy. I don't go crazy there. But I also got a bicycle, like a road bicycle this summer. And so I've been riding that. Well, now it's gotten a little cold. It's down to, it's like 8 centigrade today. So was that like 40 Fahrenheit? I've recently switched over to the reading temperature in centigrade and not Fahrenheit. I want to be more in touch with my friends over across the pond and outside of the U.S. Mostly gardening friends who all talk in centigrade, so I want to do that. But I get on a bike, ride for an hour or so a day, and I did that this summer. I really enjoyed getting the bike, but I wasn't dogmatic about it, and it's not something that I'm like, you gotta do it. But hey, if you could move around, exercise, get moving, sweat a little bit for 30 minutes a day while you're eating a healthy plant-based diet, it's going to be more the better there for you. So I do recommend moving around, getting some exercise, yes. Let's see here. Care. Hi, Care. Thanks for tuning in. Ross, smoothies are very health benefit. Just my 2 cents. I lost 50 pounds doing it, but I guess they're bad for you. Well, Ross, I'm not saying they're bad for you, but they're not a potion pill. They're not some sort of healthy panacea that you can just drink. A lot of people add in things that are not so healthy, like protein powders, which put a lot of stress on your organs, and then also they'll put in nut butters, make them high fat, this or that, and they get so crazy about them, and they do. You're not digesting the food, and you really are taking in a lot of calories in a short amount of time that you wouldn't be adding in via your mouth. But they definitely, most certainly, can be added into a healthy plant-based diet. It's just not something you want to build a healthy plant-based diet around long term, and that's my 2 cents, I guess. Julie, what is your favorite source of protein? I worry I don't get enough. Well, Julie, my favorite source of protein is from these simple starchy staples. And here's the deal with protein, everybody. As someone who works out and gets in the gym, as someone who is a former college athlete, I've got my Gator Bowl championship signed football here, so I did the time in high-level athletics. If we have any questions there, but. A starting football player for the University of Nebraska. Go Big Red. If anybody out there, let's get a Go Big Red out there. But so I was there. I was one of those guys taking all the protein supplements and this and that and thinking I had to get all this protein. But I realized that as I've eaten a plant-based diet built around the simple starchy staples, foods like rice, beans, potatoes, oats, sweet potatoes, corn, quinoa, the foods that peoples and populations have built diets around for thousands of years and eaten the majority of their calories from, I've realized that I've lost weight, I've trimmed down, but I haven't lost muscle mass. And well, I mean, after my surgery and all that, I did because I was unable to exercise. But I've built muscle eating a plant-based diet. And really what you're going to be getting around, if you're eating a calorie-sufficient diet, meaning that if you are someone who needs to eat 1,500 calories a day to maintain your healthy body weight, if you're eating, and that's different for everybody's body weight, height, activity level. I'm not saying that's for everyone. But if you're someone who needs, say, 1,500 calories to maintain your current body level, if you're eating those 1,500 calories from healthy whole food plant-based sources, building your diet around the simple starchy staples, potatoes, rice, oats, oatmeal, corn, quinoa, foods like that, and then you're adding in fruits and vegetables, if you're eating enough calories of those foods, you're going to get more than enough protein from the potatoes, the oats, the beans, the rice, the corn, the quinoa, the broccoli, the spinach, the salad, things like that. So I wouldn't, it's not, there is not an epidemic of vegans or plant-based eaters running into hospitals and filling up emergency rooms because they're protein deficient. And that's something that, I'm not saying that because I've known that forever. I'm saying that's because that's something that you learn as you get on this. We've been so conditioned to think that protein. Well, I'm here to tell you, and this was a question someone asked me, I think in the last live stream, was what do you say to someone who says, where do you get your protein from? And I still get asked it, right? I'm work out harder, I'm strong. You got guys that, well, where do you get your protein from? And you say, well, here's the question. Where do you get your fiber from? Right now, pretty much if you're eating enough calories in the modern world, if you're eating enough calories on a plant-based diet, just enough to maintain your current body weight, you're going to get more than enough protein from healthy whole plant sources. But, and a big but with a capital B-U-T, 97% of the U.S. population is eating a fiber deficient diet. That means over 9 out of 10 people, if we were going to split, 9 out of 10 people are not eating enough fiber in the U.S. 3% are eating enough fiber, and those are mostly a lot of plant-based eaters. And so where are you getting your fibers from is really the question this holiday season. If someone asks you, where do you get your protein from? Well, Uncle Bob, you're 400 pounds. I've lost 50 pounds. I'm trim, healthy, off my medications. Maybe we should stop worrying about where I'm getting my protein from and worry about where you're getting your fiber from or where you're not getting your fiber from. Let's turn that conversation around. But for your question, Julie, my favorite protein sources are, I don't eat, I understand if you're kind of getting on to plant-based diet, how odd it can sound as people, as you get on this, but I don't need a protein source. Like, I don't sit down and think, there's my protein, there's my carbohydrates, it's to say, there's my simple starchy staples, my rice, my oats, my potatoes, my corn, my quinoa, and then there's my fruits and there's my vegetables, and there's going to be my protein in the perfect amount that nature intended it in a whole plant form. There's going to be my fiber. There's going to be my carbohydrates. There's going to be my fat in the lower amount compared to dousing everything in olive oil or dousing everything in animal fat. There's going to be a lower amount, but just as nature intended. And so my favorite protein sources are my favorite carbohydrate, my favorite fat sources, the foods that contain them all in perfect plant form. And those are potatoes, rice, beans, oats, corn, quinoa, foods like that. Bonnie, pre-ordered book today. Can't wait for it. Bonnie, I'm so excited that you did that. The Plant-Based Diet for Beginners is coming out December 10th. The handbook I wish I would have had as I was adopting a plant-based diet and on the way to lose 100 pounds. And as I've helped my family adopt a plant-based diet, my mother, my sister, my dad losing 60, 70, 50 pounds on a plant-based diet. I've seen my mother and father-in-law on a plant-based diet long-term now for almost 3 years. Seen other family members, cousins, grandparents, all seeing the wonderful benefits that a plant-based diet has. But I wish I would have had a resource like this one to give to them to get them started. The first third of the book is really going to be telling you or going to be teaching you about what is a plant-based diet and why is it effective against certain chronic diseases such as type 2 diabetes, such as heart disease, such as obesity. And we're going to be getting into salt, oil, sugar. Why are these foods that we want to be limiting or excluding from our diet in the case of oils? And then also talking about how do we cook the simple starchy staples? That was something that I said, if I'm doing this book, I told my publisher, then we're doing it with a full section of how to cook, prepare the simple starchy staples in various forms. So in the Instant Pot, in the electric pressure cooker, in the slow cooker, on the stovetop, in the oven. We've got all the different ways. So you find your favorite plant-based simple starches, simple starchy staples, those staple foods that you're going to build your diet around, and then we're going to talk about and show you how to cook them in various forms. And then the last 2/3 of the book is going to be all the 75 my favorite plant-based recipes that I use to lose 100 pounds and that I've seen my family and friends use to lose weight and regain their health. And I hope that you can do the same thing. Let's see here. Sherry, hi Gabriel. I am so excited to get your book. Vegan since July 2017, have lost over 100 pounds. Sherry, you are an inspiration. You are amazing. I'm sure you really... Hopefully it's just information that you know, and maybe it'll help you maybe be able to pass along that information to others. But man, I'm super excited. I'm so happy for you, Sherry. That's incredible. Lynn, true opinion on intermittent fasting. Well, Lynn, Intermittent fasting, like many things, has benefits, but maybe not forever. Here's the overarching thing. You eat a plant-based diet built around the simple starchy staples: rice, beans, potatoes, corn, sweet potatoes, oats, quinoa. These foods with fruits and vegetables, you build your diet around that. That's what you're eating your calories from. That is, everybody is going to benefit from that. I don't care if you're old, young, sick, healthy, athletic, unathletic, you're going to benefit from eating that diet, because it's the diet our bodies were designed and built for. That's the diet that people and populations have been eating for thousands of years, experiencing healthy, long lives, and not anything like the short lives, but long deaths that we see here in the modern world, in and out of hospitals, hooked up to machines on every prescription under the sun. And that's a horrible way to see someone go. And I've seen many go that way, and I've seen many down that road. So I hope that we don't go down that road, and hopefully that we can all go there. But so beyond a healthy plant-based diet, are there things that you can do to help maybe exacerbate weight loss? Or there's different things. I would recommend, here's my take on it, Lynn. I don't intermittent fast. I don't necessarily outright recommend it, because I think it gets away from the main thing. And the main thing is eat a diet around the simple starchy staples. You do that, you eat a diet around the simple starchy staples with fruits and vegetables, you're going to lose weight, you're going to regain your health, you're going to find those health outcomes you're looking for. You could always go, and I'm not saying this, you'd always try to complicate things, but I find that complicating things gives them more of a reason for someone to not stick with this way of eating, or find excuses for not swearing. Because you could, if you're intermittent fasting, you can eat way different foods, right? You can just eat a bunch of junk, but you're eating it in a certain time window, a feeding window, and then you can do all this and that. No. Eat a diet around the simple starchy staples with fruits and vegetables. Easy, simple recipes, whether from this book, from many websites, but simple recipes, and you're going to see those health outcomes. I would recommend checking out nutritionfacts.com, or Dr. Greger on YouTube, nutritionfacts.org, and checking out. He's done quite a bit about intermittent fasting here recently. I think it was pretty recently. Some interesting stuff. Not everything positive coming out of that. So let's see here. Lynn, sorry, asking, what is your opinion on, yes, we answered that. Sherry, where do you get your protein from? Where do animals get their, yes, I know, we've got the big, strong animals getting their protein from plant sources, from the healthy plant sources. Mary, thank you so much for tuning in. Sylvia, thank you so much for tuning in. Ross, hey, you posted another one about smoothies. I put vegan pre-protein powder in my smoothies. Ross, protein powders, it's just another pill potion. There's no need for it. If you're getting enough calories from a plant-based diet, pretty much every single plant-based doctor who recommends eating a plant-based diet, who's not selling, that's a big key, not selling those foods, would not recommend adding protein powders into your diet, whether through smoothies or other forms. So that'd be my take on it. If plant-based doctors who have done the research, they've been putting all this time, if the research was showing that we were needing a bunch of extra protein, but honestly, I know some very big, strong plant-based eaters, plant-based athletes who swear against protein powders, because all it does is it just taxes organs, and also it just adds excess calories. If you're trying to lose weight on a plant-based diet, or even maintain your weight, why are you throwing extra calories in, whether from protein, fat, carbohydrate sources, throwing it down the gullet with terrible flavor? If you're going to drink a smoothie, that's fine, drink a smoothie, but and if you want it to taste like vanilla, put some vanilla extract in. If you want it to taste like chocolate, put some cacao powder in it. But there's no need to go pay $60 for a tub of something that's unnecessary, is my take on it. I hope that answers your question. And it's not, you're not going to, it's not going to kill you to do it, but it's just, there's no need for it. There's no science to recommend it. And there's just no, other than the only people, again, recommending it are the ones that are benefiting off of people continuing taking it. That's my take on it, at least. Let's see here. Barbie, completely agree. There's no, yes. Sherry, I took Dr. Bill's Start Solution course so that I can teach others. That's awesome, Sherry. One of the great things about this way of eating, plant-based diet, healthy plant-based diet, starch-based diet, low-fat, whole food plant-based diet, is you feel so great on it. You see all these improved health benefits, And then you feel so great on it, you just got to tell everybody else about it, and you want to teach everybody about it. And the key is to learn kind of the effective way to do it, because especially as we get to the holiday season, and let's just say this, as we kind of are here with the video, and again, the topic's all about how do we not get to the middle of January, look back and say, wow, the past 6 weeks, I completely disregarded my health. I said it was going to be a celebration with family and friends, and you wake up overweight, bloated, feeling just as sick as you did before you had dedicated the whole year to adopting a healthy plant-based diet. And so we do not want to get to that point. So the key is we're starting our New Year's resolutions right now. And it's not like we're starting some sort of crazy... The only thing that you should be... the New Year's resolution that we're starting right now is that we're not going to get to the point where we have to have a dietary New Year's resolution. That is my goal for you. You should, the New Year's shouldn't be the time where you realize, every single year after year, I gained 20 pounds around the holidays, and now I've got to go back, lose weight, regain my health. You get to, you've done it for 8-9 months. And then you get to the holidays and you say, all right, now I get to celebrate. I get to, the calories don't count around Christmas time is what people say. And I've said it in the past. And then you get to the middle of January and you think, oh gosh, I got to do another New Year's resolution. You do good that year. And then you get to the holidays and then you regain those 10, 15, 20 pounds that you lost throughout the year. And you got to do it over and over. And it's a horrible cycle, one that I've been a part of, and one that I'm sure many of you have as well. And one that the problem is too, is that if you do that, right, you New Year's resolution, you do real well, you get to the next holidays and you say, all right, well, I'm going to celebrate. I deserve it. One of the worst things you can say is, well, I deserve it. Because if you start saying that, you better watch out. You're going to turn around and say, all right, we got to recalibrate if you start running around saying I deserve it. But, you get to the holidays and you say, all right, I deserve it. And you get back to the horrible health you were when you did your New Year's resolution, just 6 to 8, 10 months before. And so my recommendation is use the holidays as an educational period, because there are so many loved ones that hopefully we can hear me here. For some reason, it looks like we somewhat dropped our connection, but there are so many people out there who could really, really benefit from... All right, we're back. There are so many people that could benefit from you leading the way this holiday season. And if you say, you know what, I'm going to celebrate, I deserve it, then we get to the holidays and we kind of don't do anybody a service. We kind of do ourselves and everybody a disservice. And so my goal for everyone would be to, let's make sure here. My goal for everyone would be to utilize the holidays as a great time to educate, to build community around healthy plant-based foods, and to get to the point where we're all kind of educating each other, or we're all using it as an educational period. So hopefully I get back in here to close this out. I just want to make sure I'm kind of looking at my screen. I know we shut it down there for a second. Hopefully you can hear me. I'll use this time to say we do have the Plant-Based Diet for Beginners out for pre-order now, both Kindle and paperback version. I really hope everybody enjoys it. If you do get a book, let me know. Let me know how you like it. Leave an honest review on Amazon once the book comes out. But I'm really excited about it, and I really hope that everybody gets a chance to check it out and enjoy it. And hopefully we can still hear me. I hope we're... Kathy's saying she lost me there. I think we're back now. It looks like we're kind of back here. Cassie asks, is this book SOS? It is SOS free. So the Plant-Based Diet for Beginners is a completely salt, oil, and sugar-free cookbook. We just, you know what? And could you use a little bit of sugar and a little bit of salt to make foods a bit more palatable for you as you're beginning to plant-based diet? You, of course, can. But the key is we're not going to cook with those ingredients. We're not going to cook with, we're cutting out oil completely because we're going to regain our health, and that is just not going to be there. But what we're really going to do, and if you need to add some salt, we're not going to throw a couple tablespoons or teaspoons in a dish where you completely lose the flavor of the salt. What we're going to do is we're going to cook without it, and then if we need to sprinkle some salt onto the top layer of our food, whether that's mashed potatoes, whether that's a baked potato, whether that's rice, whether that's beans, if we need to do it, we're going to do it afterwards so that we can use a little bit amount and still get a ton of the flavor that comes from it. Same thing with sugar, but really we recommend against sugar. If we're going to sweeten, we'll use some maple syrup, some blackstrap molasses, or some fruit. All make great sweeteners. So let's see here. All right, everybody who pre-ordered the book, thank you so much. Michael, it was great to see you at the pop-up this afternoon. So glad to see you and your lovely wife, and had a wonderful time out there. All right, we're back. It looks like we're back, everybody. I really appreciate everybody tuning in to today's live stream. If you enjoyed it, hit the share button, and share it, like it. Tag someone you think should watch it if you think that this was beneficial to anyone. And again, the Plant-Based Diet for Beginners is out for pre-order now. It is the handbook I wish I would have had when I was adopting a plant-based diet, as I was losing 100 pounds, as I was getting my family to adopt a plant-based diet, and as, it is the book full of recipes. I'm kind of like just giving my taglines here, but honestly, it's full of recipes that are going to do two things. They're going to fill you up, and they're not going to fill you out. So you're going to fill up on these wonderful, tasty foods full of carbohydrates and fiber and whole plant-based foods, and they're not going to fill you out like previous standard American diet foods may have. So please check it out. The link's up there. It means the world to me if you at least check it out. Maybe send the link to someone. If you're not going to get it, say, hey, you should check this book out. Or say, hey, hint, hint, I'm looking for a Christmas gift or a holiday gift or a Thanksgiving gift, or maybe you should just gift me the book, or, whatever you want to do. Also, the Kindle version comes out. I'm really excited about it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. We will be back live. We're going to try to go live in the middle of the week here. I really hope we do. Let's see. Barbie asked one more question here. I can't imagine going back to eating unhealthy ever again. I really do enjoy eating plant-based foods. The only way for me to go now. I keep getting healthier through it all. Barbie, that is a wonderful take on it. That is what we're going to leave everybody with. The way that you're not going. So here's what we're doing. We're starting our New Year's resolution right here, right now, so that we don't get 6 weeks down the line towards the the beginning of January and think, oh my gosh, I'm bloated. I gained 20 pounds. I've completely disregarded my health. I said I deserve it, and I paid for it. And now I've got to set a New Year's resolution for the whole year to hopefully right the wrongs that I just did the past 6 weeks at the holidays. We're not going to get to that point, ladies and gentlemen. Let's be smart this holidays. Let's think ahead. Let's prepare ahead of time. Let's have a healthy, whole food, plant-based dish, a casserole dish that we're going to bring with us to every get together so that there's always something that we can eat. We might also bring a fruit and veggie tray so that we know we can always eat that. And we're going to be spreading the good news about a whole food plant-based diet with those we love by showing them how much it's benefited us this holiday season, or how much it's benefited us this past year, and how better we're feeling. Maybe the medication that we got off of, maybe the weight that we've lost, maybe the glow that we have. And we're going to do that also by showing them, hey, I can have fun at this party, this get together, eating healthy whole food plant-based foods. And thank you for everybody who tuned in, or who also brought a healthy whole food plant-based dish as well, because that means the world to me also. So that's what we're going to do so that we can wake up in January and say, wow, I don't have to make a New Year's resolution about diet. I'll never have to do it again. I've made the decision that I'm going to eat healthfully through the holidays so that the next 9 months I don't have to spend trying to get back to the health that I had the previous pre-holidays. And so that is my goal for everyone. And it's a very attainable goal, one that I think we can all achieve, one that I'll be working hard to achieve this year. And one, it sounds like Barbie is right on there. Barbie, I'll just read that comment again, so we'll leave it with everybody. I can't imagine ever going back to eating unhealthful unhealthy ever again. I really do enjoy eating plant-based foods. The only way for me to go now, and I keep getting healthier and healthier through it all. Thanks, Gabriel. Thank you, Barbie, for leaving it with us. And then I'll ask you all one question. If you're going to go off the rails this holiday season, and I'm not saying, just if you're going to completely go off the rails this holiday season, completely say, I deserve it. I'm going to go the next 6 weeks, not eat healthy plant-based foods and say, you know what, I'll start back up at the new year. You know what? And you'll hear people say, well, why don't you just cheat on a plant-based diet a little bit? Don't just cheat. Well, here's the deal. If you completely disregard it and you go back to eating a standard American diet or even an unhealthy vegan diet the whole holiday season, guess what's going to happen? Here's the question. Who are you cheating if you cheat on your healthy plant-based diet or healthy plant-based lifestyle? Because it's not just a diet. Diet's here today, gone tomorrow, fads there and there. This is a lifestyle. This is something that's sustainable, something that's easy for everybody to attain. Who are you cheating on? I'll leave it with that for you, but I'll answer too. You're cheating on yourself. The only person that you cheat on, if you're cheating on the way that you're eating this holiday season, is yourself. And the only person that's going to have to deal with that is yourself when you're sitting around thinking of another New Year's resolution, trying to lose weight, regain health, tighten my stomach, lose that extra weight, when you were rocking and rolling all the way up to November, and then you said, you know what, I'm just going to celebrate a little bit. I'll get back on it in January. Don't do that. I'm cheering you on. I really think that we can all do this. I really think so. I really am so proud of everybody who's making a difference in their own lives and making a difference in the lives of the ones that they love. Thank you all for tuning in. Again, the plant-based diet for beginners is out for pre-order now. It's at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, IndieBound, BAM, Indigo, Angus & Robertson in Australia, UK's Amazon. It's pretty much everywhere major books are sold.